what are your plans for the off season and possibly playing or just doing individual workouts?
Yeah, I mean, probably take a little bit of a break here, just for maybe a week. I don't really want to lose a ton of the stuff I've worked on, and just trying to get my body back to full health. There's some USA basketball stuff.
They misjudged the storm they were about to unleash, believing they could just remove her from the story. Caitlin Clark's exclusion from the Team USA selection for the Summer Games was already the most contentious decision in women's basketball history. But fresh material indicates that the disrespect went far beyond a straightforward rejection. We are discussing an almost unbelievable degree of pettiness. According to leaks from inside the selection process, there was an offer on the table that was so offensive that it was essentially meant to be turned down before the last door was shut in her face. There are rumors that league executives thought about giving Clark a position as a glorified alternate, but with a catch that went straight to the heart of her personality. They supposedly intended to give her jersey number 12 instead of her famous number 22. Jersey numbers are more than just numbers in the world of professional basketball. They are prestige symbols. In hoops culture, number 12 is commonly known as the bench warmer special, the jersey you give to the final player on the squad in order to fill a spot. Players like Sophie Cunningham, an athlete renowned for her fire and grit, are said to have stepped up and refused to comply with the league's complex politics as a result of the offer, which was so disrespectful that it sparked a tremendous mutiny behind the scenes. This was a declaration of war against the new age rather than merely a roster selection. You must comprehend Caitlin Clark's brand in order to comprehend why this jersey number rumor is so shocking. She is an economy as well as a player. Her name is connected with the number 22. It's in the record books, it's on the backs of thousands of fans, and it symbolizes the shift in women's sports. The purported suggestion by the Team USA selection committee that she wear number 12 was a deliberate attempt to damage her reputation. You are not the star here, it was implied. Being in this room at all is a blessing. This fits the gatekeeping storyline that has been prevalent throughout the entire season. The old guard, the seasoned veterans, have been quite reluctant to give up control of the kingdom. Clark would have visually submitted to the hierarchy and accepted her position as a backup to players like Diana Taurasi and Breanna Stewart if she had taken a spot wearing number 12. It would have served as a visual depiction of the reality check that Taurasi had promised her before to the start of the season. However, the committee failed to anticipate that other players in the league, those who have risen from the bottom, would recognize this as bullying disguised as etiquette. The decision had immediate repercussions, but everything changes when Sophie Cunningham enters the story. Cunningham is a standout player for the Phoenix Mercury who has never given up. It has frequently been viewed by rival fans as the antagonist. She is outspoken, tough, and well-versed in the game. Her purported decision to speak out against Clark's abuse marks a significant change in the dynamics of the locker room. The media frequently depicts Caitlin Clark in opposition to the WNBA, presuming that every seasoned player despises the newbie. However, Cunningham's stated dissatisfaction with the politics indicates that some players are tired of the gatekeeping. The writing on the wall is visible to them. They are aware that Clark is the unstoppable force. The powers that be are endangering the development of the entire sport by treating the league's most valuable asset with such flagrant disdain, giving her a scrub number and a different place. The league has lost the locker room if the rumors are accurate, and players are discreetly objecting or declining to participate in the national team's promotional tales as a result. However, we must examine the time frame of the snub in order to fully appreciate the seriousness of this insult. The committee's justifications were, at best, tenuous when the lineup was revealed. They discussed defensive harmony, seniority, and experience. They asserted that they required players who had experienced the rigors of global competition. However, those justifications fall apart when you examine the numbers and Clark's offensive output. It was a personal choice. It had to do with politics. The smoking gun that demonstrates this is the jersey number 12 rumor. It implies that they wanted to include her, but only after they had humbled her. Without her sparkle, they desired her productivity. They intended to sell tickets using her name, but they made her sit on the bench while wearing an irrelevant number. It is a traditional kind of hazing, more appropriate for a high school cafeteria than the top level of professional athletics. And that's precisely why there has been such a strong pushback. The supporters are not foolish. They are able to distinguish between an ego decision and a basketball decision. This irony is so thick that it could be sliced with a knife. WNBA players have battled for respect for years. They have battled for increased compensation, media attention, and chartered planes. They have pleaded with everyone to take notice. Finally, a player who has the attention of everyone on the planet shows up. Arenas are sold out by her. She sets new records for viewership. The league has never seen her move merchandise at such a high rate. What is the establishment's function? They attempt to bury her. They attempt to conceal her near the end of the bench and put her in jersey number 12. Sports economists and marketing professionals are furious about this degree of self-sabotage. The league and the networks are said to have lost millions of dollars in potential revenue as a result of Clark's absence from the Olympics. And for what purpose? To preserve the sentiments of certain veterans who fear losing their place in the spotlight? Sophie Cunningham's participation in the opposition to this choice shows that not everyone is prepared to wreck the ship in order to exact revenge on the captain. Let's examine the old guard mindset that stoked this fire in more detail. The face of this opposition has been Diana Taurasi, a great in the game. Many saw her remarks that reality is coming as a warning that the veterans would not make things easy for the rookie, and they haven't. The welcome wagon has been non-existent, from harsh fouls to criticism from the media. The Olympic roster was meant to be the pinnacle of meritocracy, a gathering place for the nation's finest. However, the committee transformed Team USA into a country club by putting seniority ahead of current effect. Instead of upheaval, they opted for comfort. They were aware that the media circus would ensue if Clark joined the team. She would be the focus of every practice, game, and press conference. It was obvious that the veterans, who had led the league in relative obscurity for 10 years, didn't want to share that platform. The comment about the jersey number was probably a test. Will she give in? We offer her leftovers. Will she accept them? They completely released her when she responded with silence. However, quiet is a potent weapon. And Caitlin Clark has made excellent use of it. Clark has said very little while the internet erupts in fury on her behalf. Commentators argue over the roster's fairness, and there are rumors that Sophie Cunningham won't play along. She hasn't voiced any complaints. She hasn't lost her temper. She's just returned to her job. Whether she is a rookie or not, she is shattering assist records, recording triple-doubles, and demonstrating every night that she is among the world's top players. Her detractors are enraged by her silence. They want her to lose it. In order to defend their treatment of her, they want her to act entitled. However, she draws attention to how trivial the league's actions are by taking the high road. They would have dubbed her a diva if she had objected to being awarded jersey number 12. She reveals them as the bullies by ignoring it and concentrating on basketball. It is impossible to overestimate Sophie Cunningham's significance in this story. Although we sometimes see sports through the prism of individual conflicts, partnerships are frequently the true story. Cunningham embodies the WNBA's grinder attitude. Darling, she's not a media personality. She battles for every bit of respect she receives. Millions of admirers who share her displeasure at Clark's treatment would be validated if the reports are accurate. It demonstrates that these are not only irrational fan theories. It demonstrates that there is an awareness within the league that things have gone too far. Her failure to participate in the narrative may indicate a spiritual boycott of the hazing culture rather than a real refusal to attend games. It is an unwillingness to participate in the methodical dismantling of a generational talent. The league office receives a message from it. We're observing, and we don't like what we see. The selection committee itself must also be discussed. Who are these people, and why do they feel so at ease making choices that appear to deliberately impede the development of the sport? Former players, coaches, and administrators who have a strong connection to the WNBA's past comprise the committee. The gatekeepers are them. For them, being on the national team is a prize for years of service and a gold watch for a successful career. They don't see it as a marketing tool or an exhibition of the top talent available today. This gap between the two. This train catastrophe was brought on by business realities and basketball purists. They believed that if they excluded Clark from the squad, everyone would simply nod and say, okay, she needs to wait her turn. They misinterpreted the room entirely. They were unaware that Caitlin Clark is the WNBA to the younger generation of fans. It's like throwing a concert and ordering the main act to wait in the parking lot when she leaves her house. What about the actual jersey number? Why is number 12 so painful? Numbers are identity in the psychology of sports. Wayne Gretzky is 99, Michael Jordan is 23, and Caitlin Clark is 22. It would be an attempt to deprive her of her identity to give her any other number. However, offering a number that is specifically linked to the end of the bench is a particular kind of psychological warfare. You are interchangeable, it says. On a larger scale, it is a microaggression. It's the kind of stuff that leaves athletes with a lifelong chip on their shoulder. If this rumor is accurate, the committee created a monster rather than merely choosing a roster. They provided Clark with all the inspiration she would ever need to smash every record in the book. You can guarantee that she will be setting the conditions, not them, when she does make the Olympic team in 4 years. For USA Basketball, the consequence has been a PR disaster. At every opportunity, they have had to answer inquiries regarding Clark. The ghost of the player who wasn't present has stolen the limelight from the players who did make the team, who are amazing athletes in their own right. The internet erupted with remarks like, Caitlin would have made that pass, or Clark would have hit that shot, whenever the squad faltered or appeared lethargic. The entire tournament was shadowed by the snub. They generated a tenfold greater distraction by attempting to evade Caitlin Clark's distraction. Despite their desire to concentrate on the team, they spent the entire discussion talking about the one non-team member. It was an enormous strategic failure. Then there are the rumors of internal strife. The WNBA sorority may be disintegrating if players like Sophie Cunningham are really resisting the status quo. The league was a close-knit community, us against the world, for a very long period. But now that money is coming in and attention is surging, fissures are starting to appear. The haves and the have-nots exist. Both players who profit from the Clark boom and those who dislike it exist. Most likely, the Jersey Nobra 12 incident is only the beginning. It is a sign of jealousy, a much more serious illness. Seeing someone gain everything you've worked 10 years for in 10 minutes is difficult. It's just human nature. However, the league's role is to control those egos, not to feed them. The league didn't succeed. They allowed the prisoners to run the facility, which had disastrous effects on public relations. Let's take a moment to think about the viewpoint of the fans. Her critics refer to them as the Caitlin cult, but they are fervently devoted fans. It was like adding petrol to a fire when the Jersey insult spilt. Fans started to demand accountability on social media, cancel subscriptions, and return products. Despite Clark's supremacy, they view her as an underdog and feel protective of her. They are standing up for a young woman they witness being singled out by an envious establishment. The Sophie Cunningham angle is fascinating because of this. It provides the fans with an internal ally. It lets them know that even the players believe this is wrong, so you're not insane. It gives the rage legitimacy. It develops a plot and a story about the characters. Sophie, Caitlin and Prun against the establishment. And that's a compelling tale. However, we must ask, was there ever a valid basketball justification for the rejection? The committee cited Clark's poor defensive experience and high turnover rate. Indeed, those are legitimate criticisms for a novice. But do they have enough merit to exclude the world's most explosive scorer? Do they have enough merit to overlook the indisputable chemistry she generates when she passes away? The majority of analysts disagree. Some of the players on that squad were less influential and played less minutes than Clark would have. The personal motivations seem to be concealed by the basketball justifications. If accurate, the jersey number 12 offer indicates that they thought she had enough skill to be a member of the squad. Simply put, they didn't want her brand on the squad. Instead of making her the star of the show, they wanted her as a backup and a quiet participant. And they sliced her when it became evident that she was too large to be little. This will have fascinating long-term effects. What impact will this have on the upcoming generation of players? Will they reconsider joining the WNBA after witnessing how Clark was treated? Will they realize that you have to play politics even if you are the best? Or will a revolution be sparked by this? Will more athletes like Sophie Cunningham speak up and refuse to let the veterans quiet them? One could argue that we are witnessing the agonizing birth of the new WNBA and the demise of the old one. The force of the new period is too great for the gatekeepers, who are clinging to the gates with white knuckles. Whether they like it or not, Caitlin Clark is on her way. The most confusing portion of the challenge is the financial component. The WNBA operates as a company. Making money is its main objective. Caitlin Clark is a machine that prints money. The league is effectively burning money by alienating her and treating her disrespectfully with the jersey swap offer. The Olympic Games are a showcase for the world. It was an opportunity to showcase women's basketball's future to the world. Rather, they presented the past to the world. They displayed a squad that was identical to the squad from 4 years prior. They lost a fantastic chance to turn casual Olympic viewers into ardent WNBA supporters. You put your best goods in the window, according to Marketing 101. Because they didn't like the packaging, Team USA chose to retain their greatest product in the warehouse. The pressure this places on the players who did accept the jersey numbers should therefore not be overlooked. They're playing under a microscope right now. Every error is amplified. The selection committee would have been solely responsible if Team USA had lost. However, they lost the PR fight even if they won. Imagine if Caitlin had been present. The storyline was Team USA wins gold, not Team USA wins gold. That is the situation's tragedy. The drama surrounding the snub is overshadowing the existing roster's quality. By keeping Clark out of the spotlight, the veterans made sure that they would never really be the center of attention. They are the ones who manufactured this contradiction. Bring it back to Sophie Cunningham now. Her integrity is demonstrated by her refusal to play the game, either literally or figuratively. Following the herd is simple. Because everyone else is bullying the beginner, it's simple. Standing up and saying, "This is wrong," requires courage. She deserves a great deal of credit if the reports of her disobedience are accurate. She is demonstrating that it is possible to compete without being hateful. You don't have to degrade Caitlin Clark off the court if you want to defeat her on it. The selection committee appears to have overlooked the essence of true sportsmanship. Will the WNBA take any lessons from this as we move to the future? Will they come to the realization that they can't stop Clark's surge in popularity? Or will they keep digging their heels in? One of the most significant unintentional mistakes in sports management will probably be remembered as the Jersey Nantre 12 controversy. Ego overcame reason in that moment, but it also inspired a fan base. It demonstrated that Caitlin Clark is more than just a jersey number. She can be placed in numbers 12, 50, or 99. It is irrelevant. Their politics are not as powerful as her game. Sophie Cunningham and the others who are refusing to put up with the disrespect are on the correct side of history. In actuality, this story is far from finished. The WNBA's upcoming seasons will be shaped by the conflict between the new generation and the old guard. This rejection will be the underlying theme each time Clark takes on Horace or Stewart. Fans will remember Sophie Cunningham as the one who stood up for what was right each time she goes the court. The moment the league chose to play games with jersey numbers, they lost control of the narrative, despite their best efforts. In the process of humiliating a novice, they revealed their own fears. Additionally, that discoloration is difficult to remove. What should we do next? The voices of the fans have been heard. The engagement figures are accurate. More people watch the videos that analyze this snub than the Olympic highlights. That provides you with all the information you need to understand what matters to the people. Fairness, respect, and watching the top players compete are important to them. The WNBA must decide whether to change or disappear. Clinging fiercely to the past will prevent you from building a future. The remark from Jersey Narrator 12 was a last-ditch effort to maintain a hierarchy that is no longer in place. No amount of gatekeeping can repair the damage that Caitlin Clark has caused to the ceiling. Perhaps this was ultimately the finest thing that could have happened to Caitlin Clark. It provided her with a respite. It made her feel resentful.